Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about something that is probably, if not the most important disclosure in the entire transaction, right? This is the buyer investigation advisory. And I put this big old stop sign because it's something that you need to slow down and understand what your rights are as a buyer. Now, let's go ahead and take off the sign here. Okay, here we go. Buyer's advisory, or it used to be called the buyer's advisory, but now it's buyer's investigation advisory. So here's the important thing is that when you're buying a house, you understand the property, the history, and then the condition that the property is in before you close escrow. Now, if for whatever reason the property is not exactly what you expect, then you have the right as a buyer to completely cancel the transaction and get your money back, your initial deposit back, scathe free. Now there's a couple of things. The importance of a property investigation is to do a physical inspection, but it's not guaranteed by the seller or the broker. So, as a buyer, you have duties. So it says right here, you have duties to exercise reasonable care to protect yourself, including discovery of legal, practical, and technical applications. Right. So when you purchase a house, you're going to order a home inspector, and this home inspector is a general home inspector. He looks at the roof, he looks at the plumbing, he looks at the outlets, he looks at the general condition on the property, and he gives you some things like, hey, you know what? I think you should look at the plumbing and get a professional plumber to look at the plumbing. Now, he's there just to do a general overlook, and like here, number two says broker's obligation. So the broker, it's myself as the agent representing the broker, we do not have expertise on roofing, plumbing, electrical. We don't. So our information towards you is very limited. Now, we can have conversations and give you guys your options. That's one thing, right? But for us to tell you like, hey, there's nothing wrong with this, you will never hear me say that because we are not professionals in construction or in framing or in foundations, roofing, and none of that, right? Uh, and I tell people all the time, if you don't understand something on your home inspection, talk to your home inspector. And if you need to, we'll send out another inspector to get that checked out so you can feel comfortable and confident about the property that you're buying. Now, moving on to number three, uh, it you are strongly advised to investigate the condition and suitability of the all aspects of the property, including but not limited to the following. If you do not do so, you're acting against the advice of the broker. Now, first of all, we're gonna be sending out the general inspector, right? That's the inspector that goes out there. You pay him a fee. He goes out there and inspects your property. For the most part, that suffices. In case there's anything that's wrong with the property, he'll indicate something's wrong, and then we'll go do additional inspections further, right? So the general inspection, the property, its system, and its components, right? You have the right to go to here's the letter B. You have the right as a buyer to go to the city and request for the square footage and the boundaries, or order a someone to come assess the property. You can go do that. A wet destroying pest, that's also like a termite guy, come out here, check out for termites. Usually we do that as well, but if we don't, that's part of the investigations. Water utilities, environmental hazards, like if the soil was contaminated or something like that, you have to get somebody to come out and test the soil. Earthquake and flooding, fire and hazard. Building permits is a big one, especially a lot of times people build without permits. Usually throughout the transaction, that's going to be disclosed, but it's in your right to go check if you want to, right? But a lot of times, a lot of this is already covered. Rental property restrictions. A lot of these areas are rent control, like the city of Los Angeles. Well, first of all, the entire state of California is rent control, but there are areas that are higher than others. Now, there's very key thing here that's important, that security and safety, it's hard to assess, right? Because we as professionals, we don't know the area. We don't know the area. We don't know the neighborhoods. So I always tell sellers, hey, or buyers, it's very important that you check out the neighborhood on a Friday night, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, after school, when the school's out, and be aware of what the nuisances might be. Now, we can ask the seller and they might tell us, but a lot of times they probably don't even know because they lived there for so long, so they're not going to say something that is something normal to them, right? So just be aware that 90% of lawsuits that happen in real estate are over disclosure issues. Now, you could prevent this by taking a forward step by being active on your investigations, slowing down, asking the inspector if there's something wrong, or getting a second inspector to come in. Now, you are going to get something called the SPQ and the TDS. Those are certain lists that the sellers have to provide to you that have the condition of the house and the history of the house, and it's a series of questions that they have to answer. Now, if both the home inspector, the secondary inspector, and the TDS and the SPQ, if you feel comfortable and confident about the property that you're buying, then we go ahead and remove that inspection contingency to move forward with the transaction. So it's a very, 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 very important to understand and be advised that you have duties when you're buying a house. Don't just leave it to the home inspector and the realtor, but be proactive and seek information about the house so you can feel comfortable about the house that you're buying. Thank you very much. This is another edition of the series on disclosures. I'm going to be posting more disclosures out. And if you have any questions, give me a call. My number is 562-659-6403. Thank you.